Welcome to Hot Route Takes. Today we are revealing our top 5 secondary rankings for the 2023 draft class. But first, we had some big news drop today. You want to hit on that, Christian?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has got the bag that broke a record. He's the highest paid player in NFL history. He had a 5-year extension worth $255 million and also has $179 million guaranteed and a no-trade clause, which they're not getting rid of Jalen Hurts anytime soon.
Nope. He will be a Philadelphia Eagle for a long time.
I like the signing. I mean, it's a lot of money, but at this point, dude, the league's just getting more and more and more money for the cap.
They are, and in a couple years, this may be looked at as a value deal. I really struggle with the idea of paying a quarterback top of market price when they're not a top echelon quarterback. And that's not a diss on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's a top 5 guy. I think he's in the Tua range. Like, I really do. I think he's that 5 to 8 range quarterback. And he's been very durable. He's been consistent. So I think, you pay your guy. That the Giants did it. I'm a heck of a lot more comfortable with what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts than I am with what the Giants did with Daniel Jones.
100%.
No doubt about that. But it kind of, this ain't Patrick Mahomes you're paying that money to. You know what I mean? Like, Jalen Hurts has to have certain pieces around him to be good. Patrick Mahomes, you got to have some talent, around him, but he can pretty much work in any offense, any scheme, anything.
Yeah, but both of their contracts are just so different.
They are.
In a way, Patrick Mahomes, I guess you could say, in a way, took a Tom Brady deal. And by me saying that, it's like he took a very team-friendly deal. So then they could keep weapons that they have, like a Travis Kelce, and pay more money to those positions.
He still got paid, and, not any team is willing to sign a quarterback to a 10-year contract. You got to be legit to get a 10-year contract.
I just think with Jalen Hurts now, and then you still have Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, eventually Tua. I think this season is a big Tua question mark for his payday. But I think Philly's main goal was to beat those deals coming in. And then I think maybe in another 4 or 5 years, maybe not even then, maybe 2-3 years, I think Pat Mahomes' whole contract might get redone.
Maybe so. And the Eagles are smart by getting out in front of this thing before Burrow gets the bag and before Justin Herbert gets the bag.
And Lamar.
That's just going to drive up the price for the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. But, man, they got out in front of it first. Who would have known that Jalen Hurts is the first guy to get the bag out of that group?
I figured it'd been Joe Burrow, to be honest with you. But since he's got a lot more, I guess, cap problems than I guess Philly does. Definitely with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow all being...
Philly's got some problems.
Yeah, but...
They're up against it. But, another player got signed today. Miami has finally found their chosen one. And no, it's not Deshaun Watson. It's Robbie Anderson. The chosen Anderson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dalvin Cook, man.
No, Dalvin Cook apparently has been linked to Miami, though, in some trade talks.
Every time I look on Twitter, man, I see Dalvin Cook in a Miami jersey.
I see it all the time, too. And I think there is some legs to that. Do I think it will happen? I have no idea. It might happen on draft night. I know Miami's looking to trade their little bit of draft capital to maneuver around the board. Maybe it's for Dalvin Cook. I don't know. Personally, Dalvin Cook would be a good fit in Miami, but I don't really love it. Health factors. We already got enough injury-prone players on the team.
Facts.
Don't want to have $50 million sitting on the sideline, But anyway, should we jump into the prospect rankings, or you have a little bit of news to touch on? Or?
Nah, I'm ready to go through the top 5.
All right, we want to go like we did last week, go from the bottom up.
Yeah, we can do that.
People kind of know who's going to be at the top, I guess, I'd hope.
Yeah. There might be some bumps along the way.
There might be some bumps along the way. I think we might have some different... we don't know each other's answers again. Yeah. We might have some different people at the top based on what Christian just said. But anyways, do you want to start off with your 5, or you want me to start off with my 5th?
Nah, you can just go ahead and start it off.
Okay, so at 5, I have corner out of South Carolina, Cam Smith. And this is a good corner. This corner class in general is very good. And I think for me, it was like I had my top 4 guys, right? And then everyone else, you kind of have to pick and choose what you like. What traits do you like? What skills do you like? And what limitations are you willing to live with? Cam Smith's a little bit undersized. He's a buck 80, 6'1", and he's a good athlete. He's not a great athlete, but he's man corner. He can play off-ball man really well. He can also press. He isn't someone who's going to press every receiver, but he can press, and he can play zone to a degree. But his best, I think, skills come when he's in off-ball man coverage, and I saw him lock up plenty of players over his time at South Carolina. This is a guy who can match receivers and trail and, man them up and actually do a good job. He's long. He's physical. He does struggle a little bit tackling at times. He's very good at the catch point as well. The kind of a player I thought he was similar to coming out, and I don't know if this will come to fruition or not, but I do like Cam Smith, and I think if he does clean up some of the issues he had in zone coverage and tackling, he could be this guy, and that's Marshawn Lattimore, Ohio State, corner for the New Orleans Saints, and it's just the combination of length, movement skills, and ability to get their hands and disrupt receivers on their stems. I think he's got a lot to work with, and I like him as a player.
Yeah. Crazy enough, at 5, I have Cam Smith too. Kind of what you said, 6'1", the 180 is the only thing that... But other than that, man, he tested well. 40-yard dash, 4.4.
Well, one last thing, sorry.
You're good.
I think he's an outside-only guy.
I agree with that. 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside only.
Yeah.
But, I mean, quick feet. Like you said, he has good coverage instincts. He kind of overbites those. The only problem I found with him, and just really the ball skills. But everything else you really said, I agree with. The only thing that kind of bumped him down for me was maybe he needs to improve a little bit on like the RPOs and read options. He normally bites on those too. He's just a very aggressive player, which can be a good thing, but also can hurt you in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're going to get got. But other than that, man, very good range, quickness as a defender. And like you said, dude, playing in the SEC, he had to play up against very good wide receivers. And
they manned him up at South Carolina. And he.
Oh, yeah. And he held his own. And I think that's for his role, like you said, definitely outside. And the best fit for him is a team that plays man coverage. I don't think he needs to go to maybe like a cover 3 team that's their thing. He needs to go to a man coverage team where you can see his whole – what he can actually be.
Yep.
I think you should go to a cover 3 system. It's just going to hold him back in his potential as a player.
Yeah, I agree. Any zone-based system probably isn't ideal, even though I think he's good enough to make it work. Yeah. It's just not ideal.
The one player he kind of reminded me of a little bit was maybe like A.J. Terrell when he was at Clemson coming out.
I can see that.
And then I guess it was the whole South Carolina thing and how aggressive J.C. Jackson was there at South Carolina. He kind of took, I guess, the J.C. Jackson role, but he's not as good as J.C. Jackson was.
He's not as good. He's not as big, and he's not as
or not J.C. Jackson. J.C. Horn, my bad.
J.C. Horn. I knew you were talking about.
Yeah, my bad. Too many J.C.s. Yeah, too many J.C.s.
Yeah.
But now that's 5 for me, Cam Smith.
Gotcha. I guess I'll go ahead and move on to my 4th corner, and my 4th corner is Joey Porter. Joey Porter Jr. This guy's a freak, man. Physically speaking, he's like one of the craziest length-wise players to come out ever. Like, I have the numbers here as far as his measurables. So height, he's 6'2.5", 96th percentile corners coming out. Height, weight isn't great, but he's plenty solid. 195 for a corner. That's pretty solid. It's only 52nd percentile, but I'm not concerned about his height or his weight at all. He carries his weight well. But wingspan, man, 80 7/8 inches, 97th percentile. Arm length, 34 inches, 98th percentile. The only one I could think of that has came out with longer arms is Julius Brents out of Kansas State that came out last year, I believe. But Dude's crazy long arms. Hand size, 10 inches, 95th percentile. I know this is unrelated, but I thought it was crazy. Do you know Tua has 10-inch hands?
Tua does?
He would have been in the 98th percentile.
Dang, I didn't know Tua had 10-inch hands. I seen where I looked at Joey Porter and he had 10-inch hand. That blew my mind.
That's big hands, dude. But his 40 was really good for being a bigger physical corner, 4.46 with a nice 10-yard split of 1.5 seconds. So he's quick. He's explosive. He posted a 129-inch broad jump, which landed in the 87th percentile, and he put up 17 reps, which landed in the 73rd percentile. So we're looking at a rare athlete, both from a speed explosion perspective, but also a strength perspective and length perspective. I think this guy could really be an elite corner in the league. And I will say this, the number one thing I gathered from coming away from the study is, man, this is a really good corner class.
Yeah, it is.
Really good corner class. And Joey Porter, to kind of give a rundown of who he is as a player. So he's a press man. He's the best press man corner in this draft class. He's going to put his hands on you. He's going to be physical. He's also very good at disrupting the pass. He's very physical, and he's good at getting to the catch point. I would say there's other guys that are better at it, but he's good at it. He's physical, and he's athletic and long, man. I really feel like this is a high floor player. Like, I feel like you know what you're going to get, and you're going to get a good player. It's just a scheme. He's got to be in the right scheme. You want to play press man with him. I think this is a good fit for New England. I can see him taking him. His dad, he played in the NFL. Got to mention that, man. Former Miami Dolphin, Joey Porter. Shout out. But that's what I got on Mr. Joey Porter. Oh, player comp. I thought he was kind of like Jamel Dean, Tampa Bay. There are some limitations to his game, Joey Porter, and a lot of it derives from he's a tall player. And, tall players, takes a little bit more for them to, get down, change gears, and change direction. That's not his strong suit, neither is Jamel Dean's, but they had similar draft profiles coming out. But I would just say Joey Porter's better. He's better than Jamel Dean, and he will be. He's a better prospect. But
all right, man. At number 4, man, this is going to be
the
one that get a lot of people, but I have Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon at 4. And there's a couple of reasons why I have him at 4. One, we have safeties in this group, and there's a safety guy that's, to me, better than Christian Gonzalez as a player. So, of course, that safety is going to be above him in my list. If it wasn't for that, he would have been lower. But just because we're adding safeties into this group, somebody had to go down. And after looking into him, I hate to do it, but it had to be him. One of the reasons he's at 4 for me is he's played his first 2 years at the University of Colorado. Then he transferred to Oregon for his final season. But, as a prospect for teams, he got, really what you want. 6'1", 197, good length, athleticism, instincts, super speedy athletic corner. I found a little nugget about him that I thought was pretty cool. He ran track as a senior in high school where he recorded a 21.6 in the 200 meter at the Texas State Championship. And if we know anything about Texas in general, they just have dogs there, man. Just fast, good athletes. That was something cool to me. Maybe people don't think is that cool, but just this guy's got quickness. Closing speed, willing to make the big hit. He has great change of direction, ability to mirror a wide receiver. One of the reasons I guess you say I went down is his productivity only a senior year of elite play to me. I'm not trying to talk bad about Colorado, but just you've only played 1 year at an elite school. His previous 2 years, he was averaging a QB rating of 90 when covered by him. But other than that, man, if I have a role for him, definitely outside corner. You got not putting this guy in the slot. I think he has all the tools to go higher than this. This is just what I think. I think a team will get him sooner than a lot of guys I like more than him. But he has all the tools. I just think he needs to be developed a little bit more to have his full potential. But if a team draft him and get that full potential, this guy could easily, we look back at this and he'd be easily the 1 or 2 corner out of this class. But to me, just any fit. I mean, he could play zone, man-to-man. I like him in either, but I have him at 4.
Gotcha. Okay. So Christian Gonzalez is my 3rd ranked player, so I'll go ahead and get into him. Won't waste too much time recapping because you said a lot of it, but so here's my general take on corners coming out. So you got a couple different things you can look at when you're evaluating corners. How are they at the catch point? Can they tackle? Can they play zone? Can they press? How fast are they? They have long enough speed to play outside. Are they quick and able to change directions to play in the slot? But I think the hardest thing for a corner to do is be in position to affect the catch point. Now, I'm not talking about finding the football. I'm talking about getting to that point to where all you have to do is turn your head and find the football. Getting to that point, being in the right position, is the hardest thing about playing corner. And so I look at for guys who have the movement skills to do that at a high level, and then you can teach the rest. Christian Gonzalez, he can do that. He can't do a whole lot of things really well outside of that. He's not the best tackler. He's not very good in the zone either, but that can be taught. He's got the movement skills. I don't ever think tackling is going to be a strong suit, but his ability to just mirror receivers and keep up with them stride for stride is where he is good at. He excels there, and he is easily, for my money, got the best movement skills of any of the corners in this class, any of the players in this class. He's just a effortless mover, very smooth, and he ball skills are his problem, his main problem. I'd say if he can fix the ball skills, he can get his head around, he can make plays on the football, he can knock balls out of guys' hand, pass breakups. That's where he's going to need to improve to really be the best version of himself. I can see if he does figure that out, this could be one of the best corners in the NFL. This isn't just a regular run-of-the-mill, top-of-the-line athlete coming out. No, this guy has rare athletic tools to work with, and I think if he can figure that out, he can be a premier corner in the league, man. I really do. And a player I kind of compared him to just because I've seen a player like this at the NFL level week after week after week after week. Byron Jones, man. Byron Jones, also freakishly athletic, high-profile corner coming out. His problem is finding the football. Very little ball production. And yes, Christian's over here shaking his head, laughing, because when we play Madden, I get so upset about that. It goes right over Byron Jones' head. But that's neither here nor there. I just have some of these numbers I wanted to share with you real quick on Christian Gonzalez. So, he's 6'1.5". That's pretty tall. I'm not going to get in the percentiles, all that. 197 pounds, 76 and 7/8 inch wingspan, and arm length is 32 inches. Those are both 70th percentile. And the numbers that really pop out to you are the 40-yard dash, 4.38 at 200 pounds, vertical jump of 41.5 inches, which is jumping out of the gym with length, 96 percentile, and a 133 inch broad jump, which is 95th percentile. Still, effortless mover, elite athlete, and he can mirror receivers very well. There is a place in the league for this guy. Do not care what other people say. This guy's going to make it in the NFL. I could see having the worst case scenario is he comes out and it's a Jeff Okudah situation where can't stay on the field. He's getting burnt because he can't find the ball. He can't really tackle all that great, but I don't think he'll have that issue. But yeah, that's Christian Gonzalez, number 3.
Yeah, number 3, I have Joey Porter Jr. So really all we did was flip these guys, but like you kind of hinted on, you're going to like what you like about your corners, what you expect out of them. And I just think this guy, 6'2", you kind of hit on it. His arm length is longer than Christian's. It's not by much. I think it's what Christian's is.
Arm length?
Yeah, 32, and then Joey Porter's is 34.
That's significant.
Yeah, Joey Porter, bro, I just couldn't get over the hand size, bro. This dude has gloves out there.
He does.
Just like you're hitting on with Christian, if they just teach him just a little bit, then if he gets in the right position, man, I think he's going to be snagging this thing from wide receivers. But I really just his length, bro, play press man on the perimeter, excellent ball skills at the catch point, significant growth from, the last year to this year that he played for Penn State. He has your height, your weight, the speed. What you want at that position, he has. And like you hinted on, this guy has been groomed since he came into the world from his father. Hey, we make it to the league. And I just think, to me, that puts a little edge to this kid has went through no telling how many nights on the field just, this is what you want to do. I'm going to show you what we had to do in practice, son, to get to what you want to be. But, his change of direction, it seems to me, man, effortless. He's had games at Penn State. I understand the comp, that's a big thing people might look at, but, he's locking guys down. There's multiple guys that played him this year that couldn't get nothing out there. But, what else? His skill set to, I think, develop into a lockdown corner. I think eventually, if he goes to the right spot, I really like him at Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's a perfect place for him, but it's going to put him on islands, man-to-man, and that's what he did at Penn State, and we seen him at his best when he was doing it. But other than that, man, I just love Joey Porter as a corner. That's why, to me, he is my second technically ranked corner out of the class.
Why didn't you have him higher, man?
Why? Because there's my guy at one, man, who's a dog. I couldn't do it.
I know who your other guy is.
I couldn't do it, man.
I'm surprised you didn't put him over him.
Couldn't, man. But just last little thing, his ideal role is, I think, to be a premier corner, is to be a number one on the team. And to me, scheme fit, kind of what I hinted on, is a press man heavy defensive system. He doesn't need to go to his own system. He will not be working good there.
I think he's got more zone skills than Gonzalez has.
He does, but just how I watched him at Penn State playing man-to-man, bro.
He locked down.
I want to see it, man, to the next level.
Well, I think we'll get our opportunity to see that, man. Should I continue on to my second guy, or you got any more?
No, that's it, man. You go ahead and do your number two.
All right. So at number two, I have corner Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. And this is another physical man corner. This guy's a little bit smaller than the other ones we just talked about. He's 5'11 and a half, 190. And he's a dog, man. That's really, like Christian just said, what he is. He is. He's physical. He flies all over the field. He plays like he's got a firecracker up his butt or something, man. Like, this guy is on it out there. He is flying to the football. And he's got lots of ball production. He's got a nose for the football. He knows where it's going. He's a high IQ player. He allowed a completion rate of just 34.9% in 2022. That shows you a lot. And I think in his coverage, he only allowed a PFF grade of 25. That's really good compared to the likes of Christian Gonzalez, who in his best season last year allowed a 70. Big difference. This is a guy that can move pretty much inside and out in college, but on the NFL, I'm a little wary of him playing outside just because he's a little bit of a lighter frame. He's a little bit smaller. I think he can get tested by some bigger receivers. But this, man, he could be a monster in the slot just because he can cover guys. He's got quick feet, good fluid movement skills. He can stick guys, man. He can play zone, and he can come up and tackle. He's a guy who's looking to hit somebody too. And kind of a player comp I got for him is cornerback Jonathan Jones from New England. Jonathan Jones is about 10 pounds heavier, but Jonathan Jones also ran a 4.3 40. which Devin Witherspoon didn't quite crack that, but Devin Witherspoon ran at 4.4, 4.43, which is plenty fast, and he's a guy who can play inside out, versatile, and he can tackle. That's all the things you would want in a corner, and so he's my highest corner because he doesn't have many warts. The only thing I could get on him is he's a little small. He's not got the longest arms. He may not be a corner and he can win outside. Maybe he can. That's just what I wanted to put out there. There is that question for me, but everything else, man, is A+ for Devin Witherspoon.
I agree with a lot of what you said, but my number 2 is Brian Branch out of Alabama. This guy, man, to be honest with you, I didn't really watch Alabama a lot this year because I get tired seeing them do what they do to teams every week in and week out in college football. But, I turned on the film, looked at it a little bit, and really, dude, this dude's versatile defender, high-level run defender. He has high IQ. He's excellent in zone coverage. Showed a great understanding on the routes and ability to close quickly. To me, he has the length and speed to emerge as a starter on 2 and 3 yards down the line. So he'll give the wide receiver space pretty much and let them get the first 2 steps, then he'll play off of their steps. But, the reason I got him at 2, really the only concerns I have about him is his ball production. He played at Alabama. He had to wait to play. He finally gets to play. His man coverage isn't that great, and his ball hawking skills are not really. Instead of picking it off, he just normally just pats it away, which is not a bad thing. But to me, if you're there, pick that thing off. But I just think, as safeties do, he's clear favorite number 1. Out of all this, though, putting him in with the corners, I had to put him at 2. I did notice, too, Alabama kind of put him in slot every once in a while. So, technically, if we really want to get technical, he's technically got corner skills. I don't think a team would put him there permanent, but I think he's very versatile. I ain't going to say he could be a Derwin James-esque player, but Derwin James comes up, play the run, and moves around in that Chargers defense. I think Brian Branch could be that for a team in the league.
Okay.
Oh, then last little thing, my bad. No, never mind. You're good.
All right. Well, after doing my study, man, this is my favorite player in the whole draft class.
Dang.
Dude, I hadn't said anything about it because I wanted to see reaction and stuff on the pod, but dude, this guy's good.
He is.
He's really freaking good. This is a do-it-all safety.
They had him at slot for a lot of Alabama's possessions.
More than any other position.
It blew my mind, bro. I'm looking him up. Like I said, I didn't watch him that much, bro. I look him up. I see him playing slot. I'm thinking, this is their safety. What in the world is he doing down here? Now I go to another game, right back there. Another game, right back there.
He lined more in the slot than he did anywhere else. Guess what, though? He lined free safety. He lined up in the box. Line up in the slot, like we said. Also can line up out wide and play corner. This is a guy who can really do it all. And I don't know, man. I like players like that.